Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first visual presentation of the Bodacious Rant. How are you, my friend?
Oh man, it's just so good to see your face.
I know, right? Like
That's
it's been
just
many
too.
moons. You know what? You better take that back
Let me
right
turn the
now.
video off. Actually,
You know what? I don't think my glasses. All I see is ugly. How are you, my brother?
good man, real good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. It's Friday. I
It's
work all weekend,
Friday.
but you know what? It's fine. Why today is so special, ladies and gentlemen, which I
Tell
don't
me.
know if I said this already, but you're tuning into the Bodacious Rant with, the lovely and handsome Rye and Burn. So we'll have
I'm the other
a
guy. The other guy.
yes, exactly. You're just the extra. I just hired you off the street.
Yes, and I'm thankful. Really,
Now
I
back
want.
to your corner.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So, anyways, back to it. Why is such a special day? You know. Anyways.
Yeah. What kind of prescription are those?
Oh, my eyes are perfect. There's not even lenses in them. No, I'm wearing these just because I'm in such a marvelous mood.
Oh, really?
Because WandaVision finally came on Disney, and what's your initial reaction, Bird? Let me start with you. What did you think of the first two episodes that dropped this evening?
Ooh, well, I'm gonna have to go and say that I was pretty anticipating these, like very much so, especially within the last month or two when they were really kicking up their marketing campaign. And I was really looking forward to Marvel doing something different or like being experimental with things. And I gotta say, I got a pretty good dose of that with these first two episodes of WandaVision, and I'm really happy about that.
Honestly, this hit it way out of the park for me. I didn't. This is one of those shows I thought, why do we need this? Like, how is this going to fit into the greater scheme of things? Partially just because I'm thinking like The Mandalorian and how that's such like a action-packed show and has a lot of drama to it. I'm thinking, what is this going to bring to the mix? And there have been a couple trailers since. Well, was it last year the first WandaVision trailer came out?
Yeah, I want to say that it came out like a little bit after, or like a little bit before their like announcement thing. Oh
Mm.
no, after their announcements things, right? Or was it before? Hmm, it's
I
hard
don't
to say at
remember.
this point, but I
Yeah.
know it was around that time.
Yeah, and at first I thought, okay, interesting. This looks a little weird, but again, this tonight was such a pleasant surprise. We're gonna get into it in a few seconds, but I'm gonna already from the two episodes. I think out of maybe 10 or so, from what I've read recently in articles
I think it
about
was like
how
9 episodes.
yeah, 9 to like 30 minute ish episodes. I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give this show already like a hard 9 out of 10. Hard
Oh,
9 rantings out of 10 for sure. What about you?
yeah. No, yeah. I guess I have to agree definitely because these first episodes were really good. Not much in terms of like overall plot progression. I can tell there's really like a lot of setup going on in these first two episodes, but even that is like really entertaining. So and I'm really liking what they're doing with the whole sitcom format and all that. So it's pretty interesting to see, and just the how well it's written and how much fun the two actors are having in the roles on this show. I'm there with you right now. The show's a pretty good 9 out of 10.
Yes. So before we get into our spoiler session, for those of you who maybe have heard of this or seen things about it, should we explain to them, Burn, what this show is about so far?
Yeah, I guess we need to give them a little bit of a synopsis.
Absolutely. So, if any of you have been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the last few years, especially since Elizabeth Olsen's character Scarlet Witch's debut in 2015's Marvel Age of Ultron, which was I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not going to divert onto that rant.
better not.
She has been quite the powerhouse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and she fell in love with Paul Bettany's character Vision, who's basically a robotic god of Marvel. Literally can do almost anything and is indestructible essentially until his timely death. And spoiler in Infinity War, at the end of Infinity War, and she also got dusted and then came back in Endgame And since then, we've thought, where can Scarlet Witch go? Well, this show kind of answers it for us, sort of, because
Mm-hmm.
it's filmed in a sitcom format like that of, so far, the first two episodes are black and white. So think of, you're going to watch I Love Lucy or maybe The Brady Bunch, something of that sort. And, it starts off that they're in a pleasant little life, but there's so many questions to it that they don't even have the answers to.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely
Lots of intrigue.
yeah, a lot of intrigue. So we're gonna jump into the spoiler session. You got our first reaction. So for those of you who haven't seen this show and want to watch it real quick, there are two episodes, about 30 minutes each. Pretty short. Awesome. So definitely check it out. Tune back in when you decide to. Burn, shall we get started, my friend?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Bing! Ah!
And
Magic.
we're back. Nothing happened. But now we're in the spoiler session. So let me just say this. Holy crap. These episodes are so crazy. We're going to talk about the first episode today. Just a heads up, everybody. So I better not get too ahead of myself. But the first one was...
Let's not jump the gun.
You're right. Burn. Just, you got to concentrate, bro. You got to concentrate.
Concentrate.
But... yeah, just the first. It was a really. This is so far. I'm getting a very bittersweet feeling from this show, just because again, what's happened with Scarlet Witch and Marvel right now. It's like this is so. It's almost heart wrenching to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's definitely a sense of foreboding, like over it's like going on over the show because if you've been keeping up with the MCU stuff, then you know where Scarlet Witch is at this point in her life, and it's been rough. Like she's gone through a lot in the few movies that she's been in, and so that her as a character, there's like something broken there, and you kind of get a sense of that. Like it's never explicit within at least this episode and the following episode, but you can tell that there's just something underneath the surface there that's just wrong. And this whole facade of everything being perfect, like her perfect suburban life with her perfect husband, there's just something about it that you can tell that's like it's not honest, and you're like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, I mean again how it started. I love the intro for it, by the way. How it's like
Mm-hmm.
they're driving into the neighborhood. Like this is such a great homage to 1950s sitcoms that
Yeah.
you can't. It's hard not to respect it, just because it really does feel like I'm watching an old show. Because I kind of remember briefly as a kid, like I Love Lucy would come on, or maybe even Leave It to Beaver. I think he used to watch it partially because my papi, he would watch a lot of Turner Classic Movies. That was one of his favorite
Oh,
English
okay.
speaking channels. Yeah. So there was always old movies on, if not like Sábado Gigante or just telenovelas, which are still scary to me. I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah, they're very intense.
yeah, well, I saw a lot of things in those shows. Let's not talk about that now. But yeah, like I said, I just love the whole beginning, how they're just kind of like a quirky couple. Like she's all happy and he's just like, nope, don't bother me with the neighbors kind of thing. And how she's like, again, it's like she's supposed to be cleaning the house and stuff, but she's using her powers, hits Vision in the head, which she doesn't know. He's just like, oh, Wanda with my wife with the powers, and she's like, oh, my husband with his indestructible head. Like it's kind
Uh,
of funny, like
I
the
thought that was a kind
acting.
of a funny little like wink to the audience of it was just kind of how Vision died. My husband with the indestructible head. It's like, oh
Oh, I
no,
didn't put
it's
that
not indestructible.
together. Oh, no wonder I'm getting this messed up feel. That's another thing I didn't pick up on. Just like, oh, that's so messed up. I don't want to, oh, that's really messed up. But that, and then I think the craziest thing was that, how the calendar has the 23rd with the heart on there.
Mhm.
I not sure if that has anything real. I mean, I think I can get, my guess is that just maybe it's just a throwback to like the fact that there's been 23 Marvel movies so far. And
Oh, that's a good. That's a
so I
good one.
think,
I was wondering what if there was like any like outside significance to that particular date. Like maybe it was the date of like her comics debut or something. I didn't really look into it, but I was really curious. Like, okay, well, I wonder why this date in particular, or maybe it was just by accident.
yeah, that's something maybe they'll reveal later why this date's so significant, or maybe it takes place. I figured maybe that was the day essentially they died. You know what I mean? Maybe could be the day she got, dusted, and he just got the soul stone or the mind stone just torn out of his skull. So we'll have to see what that means. So I thought that was pretty intriguing, and the fact that they're thinking like, what's so special about this date? Like our anniversary, a date night, like it's really already cementing the fact that they don't know what's going on. They're just in it for the ride. And so I thought this is like, again, a lot of foreboding, like you said. Like it's a very dark undertone to their quirkiness and their lovable likeness so far. And then Catherine Hahn's character Agnes is just again, she's supposed to be like that funny, comic-y, like
that neighbor that keeps showing up in
the snooty like not snooty, but like the curious neighbor, I guess, who's just always over and kind of invites herself. Yeah. But again, I'm getting the vibe that when she was asking her, like, oh, like a single girl like you, like, where's your husband? What do you guys do? When's your anniversary? Like, even she's trying to poke questions at her and find answers. So, with all the rumors, I'm trying to forget some of the stuff I've watched or read before this. I'm trying to piece it together. I'm thinking that they're both in like some sort of trip. I don't know if it's completely Scarlet Witch controlling it all or Agnes is doing something. Like, because I definitely I have a vibe that she's involved somehow. There's something going on with Agnes already, and this is from the first episode.
just something about her seems off. Like you said, like immediately, like you meet someone, like the characters meet, and she's already just like pressing her with all kinds of questions and stuff that you're just like, those seem like a little bit, too quick for someone you just met. So I thought Catherine Hahn played that very well. Like I guess everyone in the show really, because what's her name? Dang it.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. I was gonna say Caitlin Olsen, but I was like, wait, no, that's the song that's on here.
This is different Olsen.
Different character.
Although it would be funny if Caitlin Olsen came into the MCU or something, just as she could be Albert Cuffington.
Yes, Albert Cuffington. Oh my god, it's been a long time.
And I have a feeling that we're gonna be together for a long time. Like just the worst British accent, but
but yeah, no, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, and Catherine Hahn, and by extension, the rest of the cast, they really like slipped into like those like 1950s like the acting, the methods that they do, that have everything's very high pitched and loud, and it seems like everything's like kind of yelled to like an audience. Right. They really played into that super well. So immediately from the get go, the very first scene, I was already like, I mean, how could you not be enjoying this? Just because all the effort that's gone into making it feel so authentic.
Exactly, like it's using, that's like the other thing that's getting me. It's like so many special effects, but it's for something that's not supposed to be special effects at all. Just something super simple. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's the craziest thing. Like she's using her powers. He's an android still. And again, I love the feel that because they could have left it all in 4K. But for the black and white, I don't think they did. Just like really trying to examine it while I'm watching it, I feel like they definitely dulled down the visuals a little bit, just to give you that feeling that it is an older show. Especially when, for the first episode, when the whole Marvel, title card comes on and it has the high def sound, but then kind of puts into like a stereo mode, like you're watching it through like an old TV. Yeah. I thought it's all these little things that are really making me love this show so much. And again, before we go on, Disney just they're really spare no expense with this, and I love them for that.
Oh yeah, my buddy sent me something earlier today that said that Disney spent $25 million on each episode of this show, making it the most expensive show, currently being made. So
even more expensive than Mandalorian.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
That is very crazy, and again, that makes me even more excited to keep this show going. And I loved when it went to Vision's work, that he's just typing away super fast, and the guy's like, "Oh my god, are you a robot or something?" "No, I'm a carbon-based life form. How dare you accuse me of such things?" It's like,
it reminded me very much of the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. Just I'm just a regular human guy.
This is how we talk in Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. Jackie Daytona.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. Like he's trying to sell the American accent.
Stick a foot with a moon, don't shine.
And the way Vision's talking, because Paul Bettany, he's British, I believe, and the way he's talking, his dialogue is very much like American, like sitcom voice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, like I forgot one line in the first episode, but I'm just thinking like this is something I could hear like some super white dude would say in like an old show. I forgot what, but it's just the acting is superb in this. Like they really sell the fact that they're in a sitcom while they're not supposed to be in a sitcom kind of thing. Like it's hard to describe, but I
And it's
love the
funny too
acting.
how like he called attention to like he's like, what do we do here? You know, like what's my
Exactly.
job? I'm just punching in numbers, but for what?
That was another thing I'm thinking. I'm like, they don't know what's going on. They don't know
Mhm.
they don't know if they're married. Their favorite song because Agnes is like helping him set up for an anniversary dinner supposedly. When even
What they think, yeah, isn't it?
yeah, when even Scarlet Witch like Wanda, she doesn't know. She doesn't know what it is. She's just kind of going along with it. And Vision's just like, what do we do? Like, what am I here for? And then his boss is like, "Oh, like Mr. Hart, you're coming over for dinner tonight." And like, okay, so that solves that answer sort of. Like I feel like it's just like for every hole they're digging up, there's something to kind of cover it, but then there's another hole to go into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a constant like ebb and flow, just kind of like okay, making your guess over here, and it's like nope, it's just playing with you as an audience, and I really enjoy that they're doing that with the mystery surrounding this show.
Yeah, and then I loved when he brings Mr. Hart and his wife, who is played by, oh my God, I'm gonna look up her name real quick because I have all their names on here ready to go.
Yeah, they got ahead here too. Deborah Jo Rupp
Deborah Jo Rupp, and then Fred
from that '70s show.
Melamed. Yeah, from that '70s show, and Fred Melamed, like we talked in our trailer breakdown episode, he was DC Parlov in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
In
Like that's the
Brooklyn
most
Nine.
recent thing I've seen.
Yeah,
He pulls, Jake. He pulls. Okay,
people.
stop saying he pulls. So I love that they're coming off like very, and then they definitely played on the politics of the 50s or like the kind of the ignorance of it when it's just, oh, my wife is Sokovian, like she's very European.
Yeah,
Oh, we don't dine with Bolsheviks. It's like,
yeah. We don't break
oh
bread with the
yeah,
Bolsheviks. Like,
it's
okay, dude.
like okay, like what does that have to do with anything right now? Like
It's
Sokovia,
like
but
yeah, it's very different than the USSR.
seriously, but I'm thinking maybe they played it off like Sokovia was part of the USSR and Marvel. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Yeah.
Um, so, anyways, that was really interesting, and I thought it was funny how she's using all her powers to make dinner. That Agnes brought like stuff over for her. That he starts singing a song just to like
To
distract
distract
from
them.
something. Yeah, I thought that
Uh-huh.
was really clever. Like
Yeah,
just great writing.
a lot of their situational comedy that they played with in this episode, it used a lot of the sitcom tropes, with the miscommunication with them on the phone,
Yeah.
which I thought was really funny,
Yes.
where they both think the other one knows what they're talking about, but they're on completely different pages, and
I
then
think it's best to please the wife. Well, I think it's best to please the husband. Like, no, 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 he's not being cute. He's literally telling you, please, like, we gotta put on a good show for them, kind of thing.
uh-huh. And she's over here like, oh, this is our anniversary night.
And then Agnes is just like, yeah, like you get it, girl. Like, go
Hmm.
go for it. Oh man. And then I like Agnes's little quirks about her husband Ralph, which we still haven't
Yeah,
seen.
we haven't seen.
Yeah, in the first episode, again, it's just one of those things like, oh yeah, my husband, he's this and that, but we never see that character.
Hmm.
Like there have been stuff like that, or like in Home Improvement, if you remember that with Tim Allen, where the
Yeah,
neighbor would only like
yeah. You
only
only see
peek his
the
eyes in his
top.
hat.
Mhm.
Yeah, we never see what he looks like. So I thought that was a really nice touch. And yeah, just when it gets to the dinner, it was just so. That's when things start really taking a turn for
Oh
like
yeah.
horror almost, where they really are keep poking at him like, so what are you here? What brought you here? What are you doing? What are you like? What's when you were married? And I'm like, I don't know. It's almost kind of like like a scene in the Matrix where it's like you don't know what's real, do you? Like I don't know. That's just the vibe I keep getting. Like there's more to it. Like who is behind all this kind of going on?
Yeah,
And
where you get a sense where the show throughout the episode does a really good job of like building this whole thing up of like why are they here? Because it doesn't tell us, from the get go, it doesn't tell us how Wanda or Vision got themselves into the situation that they're in. It just kind of throws you into the whole sitcom aspect of it like right away. So even us as an audience, we usually we would come into these things with kind of extra knowledge of what's going on, but even us, we're just right there with the characters. Like we don't know why they're here or what they're doing or how did they get here. So I mean, they did a really good job of putting us into that situation with them as the characters.
exactly. And yeah, and like that, like, oh yeah, like there's no rings, they don't have anything. And then the husband starts choking on something, which
Mm-hmm.
the wife just says, stop it, like smiling. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is
Uh-huh.
anyone freaking out? And Scarlet, and then Wanda just, Vision, help him. Like, okay, uses his powers in front of them, and as soon as he saves his life, just, oh well, would you look at the time? We gotta go. Like, okay, what is going on right now?
Mm-hmm.
What? Somebody's hiding something here,
Yeah,
and
because it looked like they were supposed to be on like a sort of like script, just them going to the dinner, answering questions, it being like a funny thing. But yeah, once he starts choking, it's like everything just kind of stopped, and it was like the show couldn't move forward until like that situation was over, which I thought was really interesting. And then how they kind of like changed up the camera methods to show us that it's not like, oh, like a traditional camera. Then they start really pulling you into it with more modern camera techniques to show like there's something off about what's going on here. So it's a little bit of visual, telling us that, besides what's actually going on in the scene, that this is something in the grand scheme of things that shouldn't be happening. Like that guy should not be choking to death right now. And then when Wanda snaps Vision out of it, yeah, I like how like her voice went back to like kind of her normal tone of voice. It wasn't like that sitcom voice. It was like, no,
mhm.
go save him. So it's like, okay, so something in the cycle broke here. And I thought that was really interesting to, again, show us that there's something going on here that we don't know about.
Yeah, and the whole time they were having a bad dinner. Like, he was saying old McDonald had a farm, and the husband wasn't into it, saying,
Mm-hmm.
how are you? How am I going to promote you when you don't even, your dinner's not ready, nothing's ready for us. How can I trust you? But then as soon as they start to leave, just I'm looking forward to your promotion. I'll see you
Mm-hmm.
Monday, and just fantastic. Like it went back to normal as if like the dinner went well, and like that was our first. No, that was easier than I thought it could have been. And they're like, oh yeah, well we don't have rings, huh? Just and then they make rings. Like, I love how again it's supposed to be quirky, but it really is demonstrating their
Mm-hmm.
powers like very well. How she's bending reality at her will, and he's just kind of piecing it together here and there. Like it's such a crazy way to this show to start off on. And I love how they're sitting on the couch. They're turning off the TV. Like, all right, guys, that's it for tonight. But then it zooms out to
Mm-hmm.
a whole desk of just like surveillance equipment almost. And did you notice anything special about that computer screen? Spoiler alert. I mean, we're in the spoiler session, but for everybody, did you see it burn?
Yeah, I saw this. I did see the sword.
Dan, you know what that is, right?
Yep, sword. The whole agency that takes over after Shield kind of gets destroyed, right? If I remember that
Yes,
correctly.
exactly. So Shield, think about it this way, folks. If you don't follow Marvel too much, Shield is like the CIA for superheroes, where they work with heroes like the Avengers to stop planetary threats. Now, that all got taken down in Captain America's Winter Soldier, so
Mm-hmm.
we haven't had any sort of agency with the Avengers. They've just been running rogue and everything. And now what kind of was hinted at in Captain Marvel was Sword. This is the space version of Shield. So instead of being on the defensive, they're more on the offensive in space, stopping threats before they ever get to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that is already super cool that this is involved in WandaVision, and it just got me excited. Like, oh my god, this is big stuff here. This is getting big.
Yeah,
They can deliver.
because because it begs the question too. Like, are they also just someone that's watching what's going on with Wanda and them, or are they the ones like that are doing this to her? It doesn't give us any kind of leaning one way or another with just a little snippet that we got. But just the fact that it's bringing up these questions, it's like the plot thickens.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But I think that was enough for the spoiler session for episode 1. What'd you think, Bern? That a good place to end off on?
I mean, that's right at the end, so it's a good it's a good place as any.
One more thing before we finish up. I love, again, all the throwbacks to the Marvel world in this. Like how we talked about the calendar date, which could allude to the fact that there have been 23 Marvel movies. I love the little infomercial in the middle of the episode, like an intermission where
like
it was first.
like a commercial with the toaster, right?
Yeah, Tony Stark's or Stark Industries toaster oven kind of thing. I thought, ah ha ha, Tony, which again is a big figure in her life, just because if you remember from Age of Ultron, how her and her brother Quicksilver blamed him for the death of their family and set him on the path that they're on. So it's kind of like he was responsible for her family's destruction, but also like the beginning of her life as
As an Avenger.
as an Avenger and in like an enhanced human essentially. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it means anything yet, but I think that's what I'm gathering from it so far.
Yeah, and I saw some people kind of drawing comparisons to that commercial in particular, where the people in the commercial are they turn the toaster on and they're just like waiting for it to finish toasting the bread and stuff. People were saying that was kind of like a subconscious way for, I guess, Wanda to remember how her and her brother were waiting for that Stark Industries bomb to explode that landed in their apartment. So when I read that, I was like, wow, that's a pretty good comparison. I don't know if that was intentional. Probably was.
I'm sure it was.
Knowing that Kevin Feige, he's always got his like hands in the Easter eggs per se. But yeah, so I thought that was a really cool little visual comparison to what happened to her in her past.
It has something to do with the dinner thing too. How the show waited to go on after the guy stopped choking.
Mm-hmm.
We waited for them to kill us. Essentially, I wonder if that has anything, if they're connected at all. Oh, actually, it was funny. Never mind. Real quick, my thought wrote how Tony Stark was a toaster and almost killed the guy. We waited for Tony Stark to kill us. That was the whole. I think that's the connection between the two, because they were eating breakfast for dinner, and he was choking on a piece of toast. So,
Baby, damn.
oh man, that's a great connection. If that's really what it was for.
I hope so. It is now in my head canon.
All right, man. But I think that'll do it for this one. Next episode, everybody, we're going to talk about the second episode of WandaVision. Yeah, part 2. So that'll do it for me, Bern. Everybody, if you're listening and viewing us, please leave a comment, a like, share it, if you will, just to get us out there,
Just let the people see us,
Spread the love. Yeah, we gotta get ourselves out there. All right, my dude. I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later, my guy, the Jobin Boban.
You know it.
Oh my god.